So managing your risk in crypto trading. I am here with one of my favorite mentors in YouTube's DaVinci J15. DaVinci, thanks so much for agreeing to do this interview with us today. It's really great to have you here.
No problem. Glad to be here.
So let's talk about managing risk, especially with respect to altcoin season. Altcoin season's coming up. It's on everybody's mind. And yet it's also a good time to get wrecked if you don't know what you're doing. So, break it down for us. What are some of the top things traders, especially newer traders, need to know to manage their risk effectively?
Well, some of the things that traders do when they first start off is one is they blow themselves up. They blow up their portfolio. They take one big bet and they put it on that big bet because they think, oh, for sure, this is going to make it. And it does not, right? Worse yet, the worst thing can actually happen to the trader than getting wiped out is that it does work out. Because what happens is they tend to do it again. And then it eventually blows up even that much more catastrophically in their face because they end up taking on debt and so forth. They're thinking that they can leverage up the gains and so forth. So that's the worst thing, especially when they get it right a few times. Oh my goodness, man, they end up doing way too crazy. So always remember to manage your risk basically, and never go all in. This trading is not a sprint. It's a marathon, right? You're trying to win the long game, not to try to win at the short game. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible to get to buy that one cryptocurrency or one stock and watch it go make you millions of dollars. But the other side of that is that if that asset that you purchase is like 90% of all assets, and it will come back down and either come back down and stay down for a long time or go to zero. And so you need to be able to not only be right at the bottom, but be right at the top as well. And so that's where the little old lady strategy comes in that I teach. It doesn't teach you how to be right at the top, right? You don't have to be. It teaches you how to take money out of the market, and that's the most important thing. You want to be able to take, because that's what a trader does. It's just taking portions out of money out of the market. He's not trying to be right. He's trying to take a little bit here and there. And so with the little lady strategy, I show people how to get in at the bottom, right? And once you get in, the sell part is the easiest part. You sell half on a double, and that's it. Very basic. You know when to sell, and that's when you do. You repeat that over and over again. And yeah, I've made a lot of wealthy people because of that strategy, right? Because it's just so simple to follow.
Yeah, beautiful. I think one of the mistakes I see a lot of new traders making is, they watch certain YouTubers make massive trades and they don't realize that for those guys, that might only represent 3% of their portfolio or 2.5% of their portfolio. And then they go a little crazy, right? So where do you start? I mean, personally, I think the number one thing you should do if you want to be a trader is find a good mentor, sign up for every program they've got. Ta-da, DaVinci J15, right? If people want to start with mentoring with you, and I'm so excited to have you speaking at the Conscious Crypto event, by the way, super excited for that. But if people want to start with you, what would you say is the first step getting started with as a trader? Learn the little old lady strategy. Is that number one?
Yeah, I think if you haven't traded ever at all, I think the little lady strategy is the easiest way. And it's not even trading, it's actually investing because you are effectively in the asset permanently. And you're always taking a little bit out every single time. You can obviously sell everything if you feel they're near a top, but you don't have to, right? And you'll still be extremely profitable with the little lady strategy, extremely. But as for that, just gets you a little bit of the basics of how to trade, because if you head over to my website, www.davincicodes.net/videos, those videos are a little bit old, but I'm going to be redoing them. Those videos assume that you have no knowledge about trading. Even assumes you don't even understand what a Japanese candlestick chart is, which most people don't. They look at the charts and say, that looks like Christmas tree lights or something like that. These reds and greens. So yeah, I explain all of that for you, and so that you can start from very beginning, like you know nothing, and work your way up, right? Remember, no question is dumb, right? Knowledge is obtained, right? You're not born with it. So make sure you ask a lot of questions and never feel that that question is a stupid question. Like, one of the questions people ask is like, I don't understand where the price of Bitcoin comes from. And it's obvious to you and me, but not to everybody else, right? And they don't see, well, okay, wait a second here. If I have this banana and I try to sell it to somebody, right, I have a price, right? That's it. They don't understand the markets, right? So I explain that. If you ask that question, I've explained that many times on my show and so forth. So come on down. Also, if you want to have, I wouldn't say mentoring directly with me, but I do answer your questions if you leave them inside the Telegram group that I have. I have a Telegram group that's paid for. If you head over to DaVinci Codes, no, it's not DaVinci Codes, but DaVinciJ15.com, you can join my Telegram group, and we're having a discount of 50% off. So join today.
Nice. Now, one of the reasons we actually asked you to not only speak at the Conscious Crypto event, but help facilitate our altcoins panel is because I know, you're one of the go-to people for really understanding how to trade altcoins effectively and not get wrecked. I love your expression, right? Always trade from a position of strength and don't get wrecked. That's a Da Vinci J quote, right? And so, because altcoins can be such massive opportunities to do 10x or 20x, and at the same time, they are opportunities to get wrecked. So what are your top suggestions for risk management specific for altcoins? Have you got some you think are safer bets than others? What would you do? What would you say, especially to the newer traders?
Well, a lot of traders don't have patience, right? They FOMO in, they get excited, and they jump in. And there's a method of when do you want to buy any particular altcoin so that you can maximize your profits. But even in the little lady strategy. So if you have a little bit of patience, you draw your fibs, and I explain how to do that. And I do go over that over and over again on in my Telegram group. I do videos pointing out, going to different altcoins and doing some chart analysis, basic chart, little lady chart analysis that anybody can do, and determine whether or not where to buy the coin and whether or not it's time to buy the coin. And you can see me in action with that. So come on down once again. So you just have to be patient. Another thing you don't do, and a lot of people just do this because they love the coin, they fall in love with coin. And I say, don't hate it, don't date it, just trade it.
Great expression.
And I have to admit, I do break that rule from time to time myself, because this is so hard not to. But you have to separate yourself from hating a coin, because like I've hated for example XRP. Everybody knows I hate XRP, but I have lots of XRP and I haven't dumped it yet. But recently I did hate on what's it called, Ethereum Classic, and that was a big mistake. It just went exploding, and I sold it on the first pump, and I sold it all, and I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to do that, but I'm doing it anyways on the little lady strategy. And that was a big mistake, because it just continued pumping even more.
But you made money, so it's not that big of a mistake.
Exactly. True. But it was not part of the rules of the lady strategy. But that's the key thing, right? You have to come up with a good strategy and just follow it through and through always, and not deviate. Another thing that traders make, and mistakes that they make, is like, once they do fall in love with a coin, is that they put too much, right? At least I stay below the 5%, right? rule. So quite a few coins, I went to the 5%, all the way to the 5%, and I got burned. What was it called? It was called CP. What's it called? Oh, Counterparty was one of the coins that I fell in love with, and it's now dead. And I went for 5%. But hey, I didn't get wiped out, right? Because I went with 5%. Dash is another one, and it's not doing too well, right? With 5%, right? These things, right? When you fall in love with coins, you can end up being blind to what's really going on. And so, yeah, that's why I have that saying: don't hate it, don't date it, just trade it.
Yeah, perfect. So, Da Vinci, top picks for altcoins right now.
I always get that question from people on the streets and so forth, and I tell them that, listen, even if I told you, I have a few pop picks that are small cap coins that I would like to buy and or I suggest to buy. And I don't want to suggest them because you might just go all in and lose all your money because you're not following
Fair.
any of the trading rules in order to manage your risk, right? Because you're thinking, oh, I'm gonna buy this coin and then one day I'm gonna be a millionaire like Da Vinci, and then no, you need a trading plan, okay, for that, and that's where the little age trader strategy comes in. So if you want me to say something, what I tend to do is stick with the ones that are not going to go to zero, right? And they're always going to do well no matter what. And that's going to be Ethereum and Binance Coin. It's going to do well, extremely well. Everybody likes Cardano, but I see a 90% drawdown from the top once it tops out. So be careful there. Also, XRP, unfortunately, even though XRP is my most hated coin in my realm, it's just, the problem is that, the people the army is too heavy. The XRP army is too heavy, too strong. And people want to buy something cheap because of the what's called the bias, right, for what's called unit bias. That's what it's called, unit bias. And unit bias is really simple to understand, right? If you go to the store and you want to buy an apple, you don't buy a quarter of an apple. You buy the whole apple. So when people see Bitcoin, they're like, oh, it's just too expensive, I can't buy that. So they can't wrap their head around buying just a fraction of a Bitcoin. So yeah, I've been thinking about doing a project with Bitcoin and producing a whole separate coin, but it's not going to be a separate coin. It's just going to be a coin call it a coin compatible with Bitcoin, and sell it. And all it is just Satoshis. And that way people can buy Satoshis for like pennies on the dollar.
Brilliant. Yeah. It's all in the marketing, my friend.
Exactly.
Marketing. Yeah. Beautiful. So let's talk XRP for a moment. The SEC lawsuit dragging on, but one of these days we're going to have a decision. How big do you think that decision will be in terms of impacting the price of XRP?
Well, I think the decision will be positive. I think they have enough money and clout to get a slap on the wrist and walk away and continue operations without any issues. I mean, we've seen it over and over again, right? Through right now, the last few companies that got slaps on the wrist was Poloniex with a $10 million nothing. Here you go. Go, you bad boy. Please don't do that again. Kind of slap on the wrist, right? Then there was BitMEX, which got a little bit higher slap on the wrist of 100 million, right? So you see that there. And yeah, they're just threatening to scare other people away from the market by saying that they're going to prosecute the owners of BitMEX. But that's just a scare tactic to prevent other people who see the profitability and want to join in, don't be afraid. Don't let them scare you. The best advice I can give you, right, if you want to open up an exchange, is to understand that in human history, when we were cavemen and living off of animals and so forth, and hunting animals, if there was no animals and only woolly mammoths around, and you need to go eat, right, you could either just scrounge for food and do your best at the ground, or you can take the risk and try to hunt down a woolly mammoth. Yes, you have a risk of dying, but you also have a risk of eating very well. So the same thing applies here. You have a risk of being, hunted down by the U.S. government or other governments, agencies, but you have the reward is that you're going to eat extremely well. So I think it's worth the risk if you're willing to go for it and willing to take on that risk, but just understand that you are taking a risk.
Yeah, everything in investing is risk from that perspective, and it's interesting the day and age we live in, where the rule book is changing so rapidly. It's hard to know what we're going to be facing in the coming days. I think that's why we're seeing a flood of so many people leaving first world countries and going where they're treating better, to quote Andrew Henderson, right?
Yeah, exactly. Just ignore the rule book and do your best to bypass it and try to get through. Because if you're going to produce an honest company to provide services for people, and you want to be honest about it and truthful, the governments will always make you a criminal.
Yeah. So DaVinci J15, thank you so much for spending time with us here today. We're so looking forward to having you at the Conscious Crypto event. The link for that is down below. You can still sign up under the early bird rate. So super excited. We're bringing a lot of our top YouTubers, top experts in the crypto space together for this event. And we're going to be having conversations that you can't have on YouTube. Conversations that require forthright, hard-hitting questions that we can answer in an intimate space where no one else is watching. So you might want to get your ticket quickly, sign up for VIP if you want to be one of the people asking questions. It's going to be a rocking conversation right as the bull run's heating up. You do not want to be missing this one. So the links to DaVinci's channel and DaVinci's website are also down below. I highly recommend you check them out. He's one of the smartest people I know in this space. And we'll see you next time. Thanks so much for joining. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, click the notification bell, and select all. And we'll see you next time on Conscious Crypto Traders.